Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to be building an industrial loft with a private spa and gym in The Sims 1. The lot I decided to build on is 6 Sim Lane, which is quite a small lot and costs just 3,500 simoleons when it's empty. The inspiration or the kind of idea I had for this house is that it's probably for quite a wealthy Sim who is either pursuing fame in Studio Town or maybe the athletic career or the entertainment career, and they want to have a kind of chilled out haven that they can come back to when they're not working and hustling and pursuing their dreams. It's not exactly a kind of family suburban home, which is maybe more the kind of house I would typically build, but I really wanted to use some build mode and buy mode objects that I don't use that often and create a kind of space that just has a completely different feel. So the main part of the lot is the industrial loft itself, which takes up basically all of the right hand side of the lot. I was initially unsure of kind of how long and wide I wanted it to be, because I really had in mind that I was going to use the big arched loft windows in the game, and I wanted to be able to separate them out evenly and put these supportive columns in between them, and therefore the length of the building had to accommodate those features with them being evenly spaced. I wanted to have this sense of structure that the building had originally been maybe constructed for a completely different use and had then been converted into a home. And therefore the windows and columns are in kind of fairly standard spaced out positions, and the furniture and rooms that make up the home have kind of had to accommodate the space that was already there, if that makes sense, rather than a home that's been built from the ground up with the intention of being a home. So I would definitely say it has a lot of windows, and a lot of big windows, maybe more than I would otherwise usually use. But I kind of decided I wanted that to really be a feature and for it to kind of be intentional. And that means there's a lot of light coming in, and the floor plan has this feel of there being a lot of space. So on the street level, when you go in the building, there's a little hall entry area with a bathroom on the right hand side, and then a corridor that leads down into the main open space of that floor. And the kitchen is off to the right, and it has some supporting walls that separate it from the rest of the main living space without making it a completely separate room. So the kitchen feels slightly cut off from the living and dining area, but it also feels like you can move in and out of the kitchen really easily. I think the thing with a really open floor plan is that because I was kind of imagining that maybe just one Sim would live here, there isn't this absolute need to have lots of rooms that are cut off for privacy reasons, other than the bathrooms, obviously. The kitchen doesn't need to be a separate space that different Sims can be using at different times, or different hobby or entertainment rooms or skill building areas, because it's mainly just going to be one Sim living there. I kind of had that in the back of my mind. And I also imagine the kind of Sim who would live here is probably quite eccentric and probably loves being around people and having parties and socializing. So I wanted to use a lot of quite bold, contrasting, kind of fun pieces of furniture. Some that I would maybe only use in small doses in maybe a typical like suburban build, unless I was building some kind of house like maybe for the Meshuggah family or a purpose-built house for like parties. I maybe wouldn't use like so many of these objects together. But in the case of this home, I really wanted to use the zebra print sofa and some of the really bold animal print rugs. I kind of felt the overall look I was going for was quite almost cold or minimal, in the sense of like it's very grey and white, and there's not a lot of bright carpets or bright wall coverings, for example. But then I wanted to use like touches of like really bright, exciting, fun objects, like the black and red sculpture in the entryway and the vibrating heart bed. as well as the blue aquarium that has like an octopus in it. And I originally really wanted to use that decor object that's like a large gramophone that has like brightly colored music notes coming out of it. It's used a lot in the Studio Town community lots, and I very rarely use it because it's kind of large and I'm not quite sure how to make it fit in. And I really wanted to use that in this build, but I ended up deleting it. I don't know, I couldn't make it fit in a way that I was happy with. But I did use a couple other objects from the Superstar expansion that are maybe not objects you'd use in your house all the time, like the standing camera and one of the studio lights that has a little umbrella on it, and a fashion mannequin thing. It's not a mannequin, it's like that, I don't know what it's called. I used it in the bedroom. It's like a stand a fashion designer would use to put a dress on to alter it or something. I put a keyboard and easel in the downstairs main living area. So the sim living here has plenty of ways to develop their creativity skill. I had kind of been thinking it would have been fun to put some workout equipment somewhere in the living space, but I just thought since I wanted to make this kind of private gym separately in a separate building, it made sense to kind of leave it for there. I don't really know exactly where I got the idea to have a separate gym. I think I kind of almost imagined like this lot being almost bordering some kind of community district, like almost not thinking of it as a residential lot, even though obviously it is a residential lot, and almost as if maybe that building was there for other purposes when the main loft building got converted into a home. And then maybe the owner of the lot decided, oh, I could turn that into something else that I could personally use. I guess it could be converted into some kind of other mini living space, maybe like a guest house or something for actual like visitors, or maybe like family members, or just a larger family if they were living in this lot. But I don't know, I like the idea of it being a gym. There isn't a ton of actual gym equipment, so I put a few spa objects in there as well, like the oxygen bar and the little steam baths that Sims can use. I didn't clutter it up a whole lot, but what I realized when I placed in the large extractor fan type windows, which I very rarely use, is that you can't place anything up against those windows. So it's almost like there's an object occupying the tiles of space in front of those windows, so it actually kind of reduces the space in the room. So I think as well, for that reason, I didn't want it to be too cluttered or filled with things. I mean, I only really imagined one sim going in there to work out and enjoy the spa, but maybe they have like friends over if they're kind of like a party type social sim as well. Kind of similar to the oxygen bar, I put a bubble blower in the main building as well. There was kind of quite a lot of space in the upstairs part of the loft where the bedroom is, and I wanted it to be nice and spacious up there, but I felt like maybe the sim living there probably wouldn't mind if guests came up there and just like had a good time at the party and blew some bubbles. Like it can be kind of an open like social space as well, not just a bedroom, because obviously it's open to the rest of the downstairs as well. It's not technically a private room, so it's just kind of that thing going along with the whole open plan living feel, I guess. Then the last part of the lot is really the basketball court. I thought that maybe I could use the part of the lot in front of the gym as kind of just a little park outside garden area almost. But then I thought maybe I could use it more for like a group activity type space rather than just kind of a relaxing garden. So I put a little basketball hoop with a little tarmac area and a fence all the way around it, and then kind of filled the spaces between the basketball court, the gym, and the main building with some trees. And I just decorated the outside of the main building with some flowers just on the left-hand side and some shrubs, just so it doesn't feel too much like bricks and concrete, and like there's a little bit of nature and life still in the lot. It ended up costing 129,735 simoleons, so it's kind of an expensive house. That was definitely more than I thought it was going to be before I went back to the neighborhood to check, but it's definitely intended for a kind of richer sim who's already got maybe a successful career. So I feel it's okay that it's more expensive, like for that purpose. I'll leave a link in the description where you can download this house if you want to add it to your game. Do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.